Let's talk about the peace deal between Russia and Ukraine that's being negotiated. And the New York Post reports that despite the very tense meeting with the US president last month, Ukrainian President Zelensky believes Trump remains Ukraine's strongest weapon against Russian President Vladimir Putin. President Zelensky believes Trump is looking for a big win on the world stage by ending the war. And he said if he wants to, Trump can squeeze concessions from the Russians because he seems to be the only one that Putin fears. Zelensky said that to Time magazine. It was his first interview since that Oval Office dust-up. It's been interesting to see how the fallout from that has progressed. We saw Europe beating its chest and making all sorts of pronouncements about boots on the ground, but it's gone back to the US negotiating this peace deal. It's gone back to precisely what the White House wanted all along.
Return to the fundamentals after all that dust settled. He's right. I think a lot of the points he made, President Zelensky, in that piece, where he says that ultimately the U.S. is his strongest weapon. True, because without the U.S., they don't stand a chance, as was famously put out into public in that meeting. It's true. I think he was honest when he said that Trump is the one person Putin fears, and we can litigate that word, but at least he wasn't saying Trump is Putin's puppet, which is something that the other side has been saying for far too long. And he is right. The third thing he said is that the U.S. can squeeze Russia if they want. I think that's the key here, that the administration may not necessarily want that because they look through the lens of realism. They want to recalibrate U.S. and Russia relationships. Doesn't mean it's perfect, doesn't mean everybody is perfect, but is that a better strategy for advancing U.S. interests when you look at China and everything else? And that's kind of where he's going. So that's what they're looking at. Legacy does matter to Trump for sure, and the administration. They want the win for political and legacy reasons. So all of that is true. And if there's enough alignment across all the players on the chessboard, then hopefully a deal happens soon.
And you do get the impression that what's best for the US is going to be at the heart of this deal. Of course, they're going to try to negotiate an advantageous deal for Ukraine, but it also has to benefit America because that's everything that Trump cares about. And this point about Putin fearing Trump that Zelensky made, well, the fact that he didn't do anything during Trump's first term and he's now seems to be cooperating for now, it says something because we've seen him behave very differently with Biden and Barack Obama.
Undeniably, and that point was made throughout the campaign. People get it intuitively. And I think that's also why the Trump administration, what they're going to try and negotiate, hopefully, is something with lasting impact. Because if the strategy is that he fears only the person in the White House now, that will end in 3.75 years from now. And so putting in place something that is stickier would be beneficial for everybody.
Well, there was that rumour that did the rounds and the Trump camp did nothing to dispel it, that he threatened to bomb Moscow if Vladimir Putin's forces invaded Russia during his first term. And Putin obviously took that seriously. Whether he was ever going to follow through or not is a different story. But the doubt was enough to see him refrain from doing that